Hi, everybody. This is a special edition of the Shot Clock. I'm sports editor Mark Fowler, AZ Central, and you may know this gentleman standing next to me, Ted Giannoulas, better known as the San Diego Chicken.
Woo!
Welcome to Phoenix.
Yes, thank you, Mark. And first, let's tell the people, we're not related, are we?
We're not. Okay. I am not Fowler, but it's close enough for government work, right?
Right.
Okay, so the Chicken is here for tomorrow's Fall League All-Star Game. If you haven't been to the Arizona Fall League, you're missing a great treat. Kent Summers has a great column about it right now in AZ Central. And tomorrow's game at Surprise, 5 o'clock, Surprise Stadium.
5 o'clock. I'm going to make it the funniest night in the history of the Arizona Fall League.
Now, you've been at All-Star Games a few times,
yeah.
So you've probably had a couple of stories up your feathers or up your sleeve to talk about from All-Star Games?
Absolutely. In fact, I've done NBA All-Star Games and Major League All-Star Games, and in fact, I've participated in the very first open Major League All-Star Game workout back in 1978.
And that was an encounter with one Dave Winfield, was it not?
They actually let me pitch batting practice to Dave Winfield, the Hall of Famer, right there on the first practice. And he did not take me deep, believe it or not. He did not. My little split finger fastball was working that day.
Split finger. How many fingers does a chicken have? That's a question for another time. But enough about biology. So tomorrow at the Fall League, and as I said, the Fall League it's got tomorrow's stars today.
Yes.
But that's probably not what you're mostly interested in. You're interested in the fans and the experience and having a good time, right?
Yeah, that's true, Mark. Because what I do, I goof with the players, the umpires, the fans. I satirize myself, and just try to have some frivolity at the game for the fans. And it seems to work out, because I've always believed baseball's got the best sense of humor of all the sports. And that's probably a secret to my success.
And you have much better access, obviously, during a baseball game than you would have some other sports.
Yeah, there's a lot of downtime. It's the only major sport that isn't played against a clock for the most part, as we know, even though they've got 2-inning mini breaks in there at the time. But still, nonetheless, it lends itself, the whole ambience lends itself and to a sense of humor. And that's why there's so many great stories of baseball, over the years.
Baseball has always had different kinds of entertainers, going all the way back to the Brooklyn Dodgers Symphony Band, Max Packin, the clown prince of baseball. I mean, that's sort of the predecessor to what you do, right?
Yeah, it's interesting that when I started out, I did not even know about a lot of these people, Mark. Mm-hmm. I learned about them after the fact. But it doesn't surprise me. There's old Al Shack from the 30s and the 40s. And, it's really surprising how many have been over the years. But, I was like, at the time when I started off in 1974, it was just an off-the-wall radio station promotion. And being a sports fan, I felt I could get into Padre games for free at the time. And that's why I started going down. And the rest became chicken history.
So speaking of history, you've seen mascots come and go. You got any favorites that you like?
Well, I got to tell you, my favorite, I know we're at ASU country here, but I love the University of Florida Gator. Mm. Oh, man, that suit, with that protruding snout, that guy can lip sync the national anthem. It's incredible. But to me, that is an inherently funny suit, and with the long tail and the turtleneck, and it cracks me up every time I see it.
Well, mascots are near and dear here in Phoenix because of the gorilla, the Phoenix Suns gorilla, who is a little different than, I think, a traditional mascot in that at halftime they do this trampoline jam thing with his cohorts. I'm sure you've seen that before. So we have a lot of lore in mascots here in Phoenix.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of gymnastics has entered a lot of these halftime shows over the years, and it really is quite a show. I remember a group known as the Bud Light Daredevils back in the day, and they used to do all kinds of trampoline jumping and passing the ball to each other simultaneously.
Right.
Oh, it was really something. So, but it's all about stretching the entertainment dollar for the sports fan, and it just worked out. When I started out back in '74, in the time that I call BC, before chicken, there was none of this, Mark, none. You know? But ever since, it's kind of like I'm kind of seen as the godfather of feathers that really inspired this kind of thinking out of the box for sports.
Well, we mentioned 1978 and the All-Star Game. That was a big year for you. That's kind of the year you came out nationally as an entertainment icon because of the Holy Roller Game.
Oh, now you bring it up.
There he goes.
Mark, I got to tell you, it was a play that changed the rules of football.
Absolutely did.
Yes, and the Oakland Raiders literally fumbled their way into the end zone on the last play of the game to beat the San Diego Chargers. I was there that night. I had a seizure. It's actually an afternoon game, but I was there, and I had a seizure in the stands, as did about 50,000 people as well. And I was just emulating what they were going through at that time.
It's well known. Check it out on YouTube. Better yet, check Ted, the famous San Diego Chicken, out tomorrow. Surprise Stadium, 5 o'clock. The Arizona Fall League All-Star Game. You don't want to miss either of those. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, sir. Woo!
And thanks for joining us.